Hi, I'm Mike Marino, and this is a brand new episode of Live from My Mother's Basement. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, or I guess good afternoon, depend on when you're watching this or where you are in the world. Welcome to another edition of Live from My Mother's Basement. Of course, we're not in the basement right now. We're at my studio in Los Angeles, California. I wish I was in the basement. I wish I was in New Jersey, but I'm in California right now on tour. We're doing some work. So I'm lucky enough to call my fellow comedians who live in the California area to come over to the studio and hang out with me and chit chat about what's going on in their comedy world. So right now, thousands of people who are watching, please put your hands together for Jonas, Garvin. Thanks for coming over, man. Holy shit, finally.
Yeah.
We could start off with, I was supposed to do this at least 3 different times with Jonas. We got fucked up every single time. He was supposed to come this one day. I was late. He was supposed to come some other time. He was late. Not only is he a stand-up comic, but he's going to talk about, I want you to talk about the fact that he's an iron worker. And he's one of those guys that, risk their lives to make a couple of bucks. It's insane that these people do that. I can't wait to ask him about what that life is actually really like, because when the average person thinks about iron workers, we think about those maniacs in New York City that are walking around on those high beams with no net.
It's the same in every city.
Is that?
Yeah, it's the same in every city.
Well, we're going to rewind. We're going to find out where he's from first, what made him get into the stand-up comedy world, and how come he's wearing sunglasses inside the studio. Where are you from, anyway?
Well, I'm going to take up the first hour of the show by telling you that.
All right, I'll be right back.
Here. Born in Rockford, Illinois, outside Chicago. So go Bears, go Cubs. When I was 9, we left left Rockford, moved to Jersey for 3 years.
Get out of here! I didn't know that.
Yeah, Morris Plains, New Jersey, right? Yeah, I was over there for like 3 years.
And is it like somebody can't talk about being
right?
Jersey?
Well,
they turn into a Jersey guy.
Did
you see?
Yeah, then we went down to down there in North Carolina. That's where I grew up. Down there, man. Down there in Charlotte. Yeah, down there home NASCAR, whatnot. Then went to Arizona State for college. When you get a 1.5 your first year of college, they just kind of hand you the tool belt. They say go away. So yeah, that didn't work out. Hung out in Arizona for a while, then moved to Minneapolis for a year. And then I was off to Aspen, Colorado for a couple of years, just kind of stopped there for the night on my way back to Phoenix, and I just didn't leave for 2 years. I just never made it back to Phoenix. And then went back to Minneapolis for, I think, 6 or 7 years, and then out to LA in 05. So all over.
That's a lot of traveling. So you've been in Los Angeles since 2005?
Yeah, and that's I was going to mention that too, because I'm like, oh my God, because you and I started running around together at the clubs here. We met about March 05.
Was that right?
Yeah, at the Ha-Ha.
At the Ha-Ha.
And I'm like, oh my God, it's been like 19 years. Like
Time is flying.
Dude.
Folks, you don't know, the Ha-Ha Comedy Club is actually a very well-known comedy club on Lancashire Boulevard in North Hollywood. It's been around for, I would say, 30 years, maybe 32 years. Great place, great people who owned it. They produced a son who is now a very well-known comedian. They call him Jack Jr., so a big shout out to the Ha-Ha Comedy Club. Thank you guys for all the time and stage time you gave us. You remember when we would go to the Ha-Ha when he first started? And it was under construction. And this guy, Jack, who owned it, would actually do construction while you were performing.
Yeah, and then there was, he asked me to help him out a little bit one time. And then there was a conflict about how my services would be paid for. Oh. And so that was a long time ago, and that's all I'm going to go into on that right now. So
listen, you sheetrock my club, and I'll give you stage time.
Yeah, if not even. So, yeah. So,
is that right?
This is some good tap water. Wow, it's delicious. Nothing after 10 hours of hanging drywall. There's some good tap water. And I don't know if you're familiar with the tap water in North Hollywood. It's
the sewer water.
Yeah, exactly. It's.
Oh shit! What a memory.
It helps you lose weight. I'll tell you that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Dude. It's like White Castle.
At White Castle, at least it tastes good.
Right.
When you put it back, that's okay, but it tastes good when it went in.
Yeah.
That's a Jersey thing. Is that mostly Jersey?
And the Midwest too. There's White Castles.
White Castle.
They have them. They have them like in Phoenix and Vegas now too. But I mean, they taste good, but it's not the same as going to like one on the East Coast where you stick to the floor, And yeah, it's I like the original ones in the Midwest and the East
When
Coast.
I used to hit White Castle back in my heyday, the 80s, there was no such thing as the drive-through. You had to go inside.
Oh yeah.
And
Get
when
on
you
the
went
tray.
inside, yeah, and you're like, you have 20 hamburgers, $1.50, great.
Exactly.
And
You get
hey,
what you
this
pay
one,
for.
there's a tail here.
Right? Yeah.
But it was so fucking good, especially if you were wasted.
Oh yeah. There's cheese sliders and a 30 pack of those, and
Yep.
off you go, man.
And they slid too.
Yes,
slid,
they did.
Slid right on out.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so California, this is where you first started stand-up?
I dabbled in it in Minneapolis. I started doing it there, and I just basically I started, and it just seemed like it was, I wouldn't say easy, but it was something that came natural, and so I started writing and performing a lot more, and I entered a couple contests, and then basically I placed in those contests, and I'm like, well, if I'm gonna do this, I got to get to Hollywood, so. Like the old Swingers movie line, they made it sound like they were handing out sitcoms at the airport to stand up.
Yeah, right.
Not like that, you know what I'm saying?
No.
So it's just you come out here and you just start grinding and grinding and grinding, and I don't think you ever stop.
Why didn't you start stand-up in Chicago? I mean, Chicago's got a big...
Well, I was only 9 years old when we lived
Oh,
there.
okay, I thought...
So my stand-up career then was just limited to family functions and the playground. So
Chuck E. Cheese.
Right?
I got a big show tonight at Chuck E. Cheese.
Right.
You got to be there by noon.
Opening for the robotic rat. So
the whack-a-mole.
But yeah, I have played up there in that area now. That's the nice thing. I've been able to go back to a lot of these cities I've lived and play and do stand up there, which is cool, So, but and then the thing is too, I love Los Angeles. I've never lived anywhere so long in my life, and a lot of guys just swear by the New York comedy scene. A lot of guys are swearing by that Austin comedy scene now, and the Boston and Chicago and this and that. But I mean, to me, it's like it's warm here, So, and there's just, to me, just seems there's a lot more opportunity entertainment business wise here.
Everybody has a love-hate relationship with almost everywhere they go.
Yes.
So many people think I cut my teeth as a comedian in New York. I didn't. I started here in California.
Yeah.
I never even wanted to be a comedian until I came to California. And when I was doing the pilot season thing, that's when somebody said to me, you're kind of funny. So I ended up going over to the Comedy Store, and that's basically where I started. I mean, there are places in New Jersey. There's a lot of places in New Jersey, but now when I go back there, sure, I could do pretty much a lot of different places that I enjoy, but kind of started here more than there. I still come to Los Angeles because I do have that want to be part of the Hollywood scene.
Well, yeah, and I mean, and it's always good to come back to LA, and we got a ton of friends here.
We do. We do. We have a lot of friends in common. I'm glad you were mentioning some of the cats that you were mentioning, because I'd like to talk about them, because we all have the same conversations in the stand-up world. Who you get along with, who you don't, what somebody said, what somebody don't say, how you got what you got, why you didn't get what the other guy got.
Yep.
Should you continue? Should you stop? Should you get married? Should you have kids? I can't play, that club won't play me, but that club plays me. And then the new guy comes in and he gave me spot. The old guy, it's just a plethora of fucking nuttiness.
Yep.
But you gotta love it somehow.
It's I mean, it's like sometimes you'll drive down the road. I don't want to mention names because I can't really think of anyway. But like, you're driving down the road, right, and you see the marquee at the Laugh Factory or the Comedy Store, and you're like, how the fuck are they on that? Like, I'm like, wasn't he just opening for me last year? Like, and then with the whole social media bullshit, with the I'll look at the name and I don't even know who that is, and I'll look him up and I'm like, oh, he's got a TikTok video of he's beating himself in the dick with a ball peen hammer. He's got 1 million hits. Let's have him headline. It's
we all have that thing about how did that happen to them and it didn't happen to me. Maybe it's a good thing that it didn't.
I don't have a ball peen hammer.
Yeah, right.
So
maybe sometimes it's certain things that happen to other people didn't happen to you because it wouldn't have worked for you.
Yeah.
Might have backfired. I try to find some joy in all that because, with social media and Instagram and TikTok, you see these people kind of skyrocket, whereas back in the day when we were cutting our teeth, you were lucky you got on stage for 5 minutes at an open mic.
Yeah. That's after waiting there for, 3
hours
hours in line and then maybe just getting sent home.
That's one of the reasons why I was always doing my own show. I'd say, hey, listen, give me one night. Let me bring the comics. Let me make the money. Let me be responsible for bringing the audience. And then everybody would say to me, hey, can I get on your night? I'm like, well, what are you going to do for me? You got to do something for me.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I'm wasting my time.
Yeah.
So still to this day, when I go somewhere and the place is sold out and I have other comedians say to me, hey, can I get on? I'm like, no, actually.
Yeah.
Why am I doing that? It's the only business where people will do something for free and want to be on something that you're doing so hard to earn a living at.
Yeah.
You ask an iron worker, hey, listen, do me a favor, put a roof on my house. I'm not going to pay you, but you get to play here.
Yeah, you know what would happen? You get a severe beating in the garage.
Yeah, yeah.
Don't ask me. This is why we have unions and rules and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Even like with the acting. I'm fortunate enough to be in SAG now. It took quite a few years to get in, but there's so many people in this town that want to be in movies that people will break down conditions, as you say, just to get that part. You know what I'm saying? It just hurts all of us. But I mean, when you start out as an actor, you take whatever you can get. If it's some non-union indie film, horrible sci-fi half porno thing, I'm not speaking from experience or anything. That's why I'm wearing the sunglasses. But so
you got the look,
right? Yeah, I don't know how to do the Oscar nod from the pricks from Pluto versus the vaginas from Venus. I don't know.
That's hilarious.
There was no red carpet affair, but yeah, it's a weird business, man. Everybody trying to.
What would you say you primarily would rather do, act or stand up?
Well, to tell you the truth, after I did the book during the pandemic, I really, really like that medium. I mean, I still love to perform. The acting to me is fun because it's, I don't want to say easy is the right word, but somebody else writes the shit. They'll tell you where to stand. You're in a trailer. You're eating smoked salmon. You know what I'm saying? Stand-up is very, very hard. It's very rewarding. But one thing I really liked about writing the book is something I always wanted to do. And when, of course, they shut down all the comedy clubs and everything, I was like, okay, let's just do it. And I did it. And I found that, as you know, with stand-up, you have to have a punchline every 5 seconds.
You should.
You should, right? With the book, it's like, okay, you can relax a little more. You know what I'm saying? You can just write. And I really enjoyed that.
I wish I could write a book. I think I'm going to give it a shot one of these days.
Yeah. Start with the Italian cookbook.
Yeah, the Italian. Well,
there's not any of those.
Everybody I know.
Right? You'd corner the market.
You'd be the only one.
You'd be the only one, dude. Like,
tell everybody how to boil water.
Spaghetti and meatballs?
No way.
This motherfucker's crazy, dude.
Shit.
Yeah.
What nationality are you? What is Jonas, Garvin?
I would say after we did the 23andMe or whatever it is, German, Scottish, Irish, English type thing, and which is why it's St. Patty's Day weekend while we're here. I brought a little taste treat for us to enjoy.
Show everybody what you brought, because it's funny. He mentioned Irish. That was the only thing I knew, but then he mentioned everything else. So that really explains
my little Dublin
the
shirt
gift.
Yeah. So, yeah. I mean, I'm not one of these. Like you're hardcore Italian,
right?
Right. Okay. I'm not hardcore I know I'm a little Irish and I'm a little German. I'm just enough to where I can get blackout drunk on Oktoberfest or St. Patty's Day, and it's not gonna be held against me. You know what I'm saying? Like, okay, he gets his day. He's a little bit that type of deal, but I'm not hardcore like I do. We went to Ireland and Scotland and England, and that was really cool. But yeah, it's I think more Irish than anything. So happy early St. Patrick's Day.
Well, we don't know when this episode's going to air, but I believe it's March 17. That's St. Patrick's Day, right? March 17, St. Patrick's Day. St. Patrick being Italian.
He is. He's the, I think, the patron saint of beefaroni.
Yeah. Beefaroni. My mother just rolled over. He came over with this nice bottle. So why don't we crack this open? We'll sip this a little bit and we'll continue forward with this great conversation, because it is St. Patrick's Day weekend.
Have you had a chance to play overseas yet?
Yeah.
Okay.
A lot of Dubai.
How are the crowds?
Ooh. Smooth.
Because I was talking with Ahmed. I know he's overseas a lot, and he said he loves it.
Yeah, he does. But then again, he has family over there.
Yeah, he's Egyptian.
Yes.
So, yeah.
Shall I?
Yeah.
Oof.
Fill her up. All right.
It's enough for me. I don't really drink too
Keep it
much.
on this side of the table. Then.
Keep it on that side of the table. Look at that. Boom. Thank you
Good
for
seeing you
coming
again,
by.
brother.
Thank you for coming by.
Delicious.
Are we sipping that, or you drank the whole damn thing?
Oh, we're not.
I don't know.
I'll
I don't
let you
know.
Here,
I'm not a drinker.
I don't want to make you feel bad by sipping, so I'll sip with you now. I just have to get going. And
I could never take this. By the end of the podcast, I'd be wasted.
and live from my mom's basement, starring Jonas Garvin, taking over as Mike Marino catches up on sleep.
Your stand-up comedy comes from where?
Man,
Everybody has some jokes that come from life, family, observation, politics,
all the
prop comics.
I don't do any prop comedy, but all the other ones, yes. I've done 4 specials, and they're all really different. And yeah, I noticed that the last one was kind of like family experiences a little bit, but like mostly about getting older, getting into the 40s and stuff like that. That's not the whole premise of it, but the one before that was some political stuff like that. The one before that was a little more political. The one before that was a little more just kind of like it was my first one, and you could you could see it was just some life experience stuff, a little bit of political, but yeah, everything you mentioned is where I get it from. Like it's and it's just just crazy life experiences and stuff like that. Family.
All life experiences do become funny because everybody goes through it.
Yes.
It's when you make something up that most people will get a giggle out of it, but it doesn't last long because you made it up. It's really not that real. And as we do get older as comedians, you start to talk about the fact that you're aging because you can't believe what you're going through. You mention it, and then you'll see everybody start laughing, going, "Oh my God, I got that problem too." Like, I mean, I did this joke the other night. I said, "You ever shit yourself after you sneeze? Don't hold it in; it comes right out." And people are like, "That's disgusting." I go, "But it's true."
Yeah, right. I mean,
That's
it's
true.
And you're wondering why I'm wearing the sunglasses. It's because I can't handle the hangovers like I used to. So the eyes are still a little bloodshot.
Is that right?
Yeah, because we're older now, But no, man, it's bizarre because I never really thought. I mean, I'm 48 now, and I moved here when I was 29, and there's just like all these things like happen to you that you never, like, I have more doctors than I do friends now. You know what I'm saying? It's like I got
turn me on to a few. I got some problems.
Shoulder guy, I got a hip guy, and it's bizarre. And like all of a sudden, every day, the fact that all Grandpa and your dad wanted to do was just sit at the house and relax and everything. And like I get that now, and the older I get, I don't know about you, but the angrier I get about stuff. I don't know if you saw the movie Bill Burr did, Old Dads. That's kind of hit close to home.
Right.
And then that movie with Michael Douglas from the 90s, Falling Down, where he loses his shit. In the 90s when it came out, I'm like 17 or whatever. I thought that was just a great movie. Now, I watch that movie and I'm like...
You relate to it.
I'm about to be this guy. I'm going to be this guy in like 5 minutes. If the light doesn't turn green in this fucking street, it's just...
Dude,
yeah.
I have conversations with my friends now my age, and it goes like this. During the night, how many times you get up to pee?
Right? Like,
what?
Dude, it used to
2.
be... Yeah, it used to be just like cocaine, strippers, and parties, and, and it's like now it's just like, I'm fine. Home with the chick and the dog, chilling out. I still drink a lot, but, those days of the crazy strip club annex and the cocaine and all that is over. And I've got the rebuilt nose to prove it.
You can't do cocaine these days.
No.
You don't
Dude,
know.
I feel bad for these kids.
You could do a fucking line and you could be dead.
Yeah.
I'd be petrified.
Dude, and the only thing we had to worry about growing up was, baby laxative or just getting some fake coke.
I was just about to say that,
Yeah.
but I thought I would have been wrong.
I've got.
That's
why you do it in the bathroom, because in case you got to shit your pants, you do. Okay, I'm gonna be back. I'll be out in a minute.
The rare times that I did blow in the '80s, your friend put a bump on a toilet roll thing in the bathroom and said, "Go in and grab one." Then you did a line, and if it was laced with inositol, you just waited for the shit to come out.
Yeah.
Then you went and you enjoyed yourself.
Exactly, right? Yeah, well, I got a good fake Coke story for you. So I was working iron in Minneapolis. This is before I even started doing stand-up or anything. This is early 2000s. And there was an ironworker bar in Minneapolis. I don't think it's there anymore, called Lee's Liquor Lounge. It was the type of place that it was a good dive bar. It had a check cashing window in the bar, that type of joint. You know what I'm saying? So you got 50 drunken ironworkers cashing their checks, and everybody's partying, and me and my buddy are sitting there, and this guy comes up. We don't know him. He's not an ironworker. He comes up, and he's like, yo, man, you guys looking for any shit? I'm like, yeah. As a matter of fact, we are. Pockets full of cash. And he's like, yeah, I got 8 balls for like $250 or whatever it was. I don't know. Cool. So I send my buddy.
Good price.
Right. So I send my buddy into the bathroom with him to try it out because, we're smart. And he comes out with his, eyes. You can see the whites on the top and the bottom of the sunglasses. And he's like, let's get some. I said, all right, here you go. Here's the money. We go out to the truck, get the CD case out. Now, for you kids watching, a CD case is what we used to store our music in, before you had the phones. And how do kids do coke anyway these days without CDs? But anyway, so we stripe a couple out, and hey, I've sanded enough drywall to know this is a chunk of drywall we just bought, And he's like, give me that. So he does his line. He's like, this is fucking drywall. And I'm like, dude, we just bought drywall. And he's like, well, we should do one more line just to be sure. And I'm like, okay. And we do, and I'm like, this is drywall. So we go back in. The guy's gone, of course. The thing that actually made me upset the most about it, that was that we bought fake cocaine. We got scammed out of $250, but I could have bought way more than 3.5 grams of drywall for $250. I probably could have redone the bathroom, at the house.
Oh, that's hilarious and tragic all at the same time.
Right. So but that was all we had to worry about. These kids today, man, I see it's happened in our community. I don't drop any names, but like, yeah, dude, it's and the people that are dying, it seems to me that they're not even partiers. They're not like hardcore. They're like people like maybe on a once a month they like let their hair down or something like that, and that's all it takes anymore. This crazy fentanyl shit. It's a shame, dude.
Yeah, there's a couple of comedians I don't know that used to play the Ha Ha Comedy Club all the time, and 3 of them went down for the count and died after doing cocaine that was laced with fentanyl.
Yeah.
I can't believe somebody would put drywall. Would it do? Scrape it? Put the drywall.
It looked like it would break a corner off the sheet, and then like it looked like a nice 8-ball rock with some other pebbles and stuff.
Dude, doesn't drywall have something in you that can make you bleed, make your nose bleed?
Well,
what am I
the guy's sanding it. Wear a mask. You're not supposed to
Yeah.
snort the shit. I didn't know. I
snorted drywall. What do you do? Drywall for a living? No.
No.
It was shit. Oh, that's
Partying.
fucked up.
And big lines of it too, like the size of your finger.
Drywall.
Yeah.
Imagine that, and you could smell. This is drywall.
Yeah, you know what I mean. You've sanded it before. You know what it smells like.
This is Parmesan cheese.
Yeah, right. See, I could do that.
This is sugar.
Right? Is it fresh parm? Because it's gonna be hard to get that up the dollar bill. But
wow, that's
you got to
fucked
go with
up.
the craft stuff in the green can.
What am I thinking that would be really, really harsh in the drywall that cuts you?
Dude, it can't be anything good in it at all.
No, I know, but shit like that causes cancer. But when you're
snorting a lot of
fuck
coke,
am I
I really don't
thinking
think
about?
you're thinking about what causes cancer.
what do you make boats out of?
Fiberglass.
Fiberglass. That's what I was thinking. Isn't there fiberglass in drywall?
I know it's in cement.
That's
Put the
fucked up.
fibers.
What else is in cement? Anthony. Hey.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
What are you doing in there?
Jimmy Hoffa.
So, on a side note, you actually do work as an iron worker.
Yeah, it's there when the comedy and acting gigs are low. So, and as you well know, they do not give you a pension or health care at the Laugh Factory.
No, they don't. They don't give it to you anywhere.
Right?
There's no union for stand-up comedians.
No. So, and as you know, the SAG Actors Union does a really nice benefit package, but that when you're not working,
You're going to make a certain amount of money a year, otherwise you ain't getting it.
and then all of a sudden the world shuts down and nobody's working. So it's been a nice thing to have in my back pocket,
How long have you been in the iron working business?
I got in the Ironworkers Union in 2000. Yeah, but
Here or Minneapolis?
Yeah, did my apprenticeship up there, and then I froze my book to pursue stand-up. That's what we call it when you just kind of take a withdrawal. You're not an active member. It's kind of like you're not retired.
Sure.
But so I came out here to do stand-up and acting, and things were going good. I was getting gigs and stuff like that, doing some commercials, and then wouldn't you know it, the writers' strike of 2002 or 2007 shut Hollywood down. So nothing, So well, I guess I better climb up on the skyscraper, So, but it's worked out, I mean, like I said, it's you, as you well know, you get those lulls where you're like, oh shit, I don't have any gigs for a month, like, okay, and I need to get my shoulder fixed, so I need healthcare type of thing, So it's worked out, man.
Oh man, just a common cold, you can go broke.
Yeah,
but in the
America, fuck yeah.
But as an iron worker, of course, it's a lot different than someone who's in construction. My family's been in construction our whole lives. My father, the family, paving, asphalt, maybe recreating a building, remodeling a house, but not ironwork. I mean, we actually used to do piping, and we saw iron workers. We used to say these guys are out of their fucking minds.
Yeah, it's you don't get normal people to do that type of work, dude. You work with a lot more guys who've done time than can tell time. You know what I'm saying? Like it's a collection. I've got family that's electricians. I got family that's carpenters, cement, brickies, plumbers. This is a whole other animal. These iron workers. It's basically you're going to get a lot of. I mean, dude, I've worked with bank robbers, murderers, kidnappers, crazy outlaw bikers. It's just like I said. You don't. I mean, when you think about it, okay, hey, what do I got to do? Well, you got to walk across something this wide, 30 stories in the air, 8 hours a day, 10 hours a day, and can you sure it's just you don't get normal people to do that. So, the one benefit of that is you get to meet some real colorful people. It's basically kind of like
good words. You hear? He said colorful.
Yeah, it's I'm gonna say it's kind of like what might be like on a prison yard, but everybody gets to go home at the end of the day. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah.
Yeah, and I've got some great stories about some crazy cats that I've worked with, and but yeah, like I said, you just don't get the normal people to do that.
How does somebody train to be an iron worker? There's got to be school, right? And I don't know,
First,
on apprenticeships,
a few felonies, and then a couple DUIs, and then we'll take you. But yeah, basically there is an apprenticeship school. Where you, but most of it's on the job training. It's and they, right off they're going to ask you first day, do you got any fear of heights? And if you lie, they find out real quick.
I was lucky enough to perform in Dubai, where our friend Ahmed goes a lot.
What's up, buddy?
We'll talk about Ahmed, who's a wonderful human being.
Yes.
I love this guy. He's badass, and he and I have a really good relationship.
Yeah, Ahmed's great.
But when I was in Dubai, you watching these iron workers on these skeletons, and they're really high up in the air, and they're walking around. You could see that they have some kind of a hook in case they fall.
Yeah, it's usually we'll have like on certain instances we'll have a catenary line system, like a little cable you could hook into and stuff like that.
Yes.
But sometimes you got to.
These guys look like they were doing some of the most dangerous shit I've ever seen. Floor after floor after floor. 20, 30 stories in the air.
Yeah, it's the fourth deadliest job in the world. And so what's funny to me is people be like, how can you get up in front of a room of people and tell jokes? I'm like, are you what? But at the same time, dude, like bombing, as you well know, well, not you don't bomb, but that can be a terribly lonely existence as well. I don't know how you are with it anymore, but like I've noticed that to me the sign of a not a very good comedian is when they start bombing, they try, maybe just younger guys try to get that audience back and they just keep digging the bigger hole.
Oh yeah.
I've gotten to the point in my career where like if I can see that in the first 10, 12, 15 minutes you guys don't like me, I'm not prolonging this. I'll see you at the bar. I'm like, I don't care if you paid me to do an hour. I'm just going to leave. I don't need to be up there for that. Another thing about getting older, you don't give a shit,
Or they actually start talking louder.
Yeah, exactly.
Scream at the audience. Come on, where's my peeps at? Anybody celebrating anything?
Yes. Where was I? Oh, yeah.
Okay, so that's something new.
Right. Let me write
You
that
won't
down.
see pros doing that though.
No.
No, top of the line guys, they bring their A game Thursday, Friday, Saturday.
Yeah, and there's
People paid.
yeah.
You got to bring it.
Yeah, every show for me, and I'm sure it's like for you and most of our coworkers, fellow comedians, dude. It's all business, all the time. There's no, you don't just go up there and fuck around. And
This is business.
yeah,
I say to people all the time, they say, "Oh, you're a comedian. What do you do during the day?" The business.
no, not only that.
It's at night when I get on stage. I'm just having fun. That's the
Yeah.
fun part.
Yeah, well, it's kind of like I think it was Ray Lewis, the NFL linebacker, retired linebacker, says he goes, "You pay me Monday through Friday to come to practice. Sundays you get for free." He's like, "I'm having fun on
Yeah.
that day." So that's kind of because a lot of people don't understand how much work goes into it. They think
Oh,
it's
well.
just get up on stage and start being an idiot.
It's the hassle of getting in touch with bookers, agents, club owners, sometimes staff that works there. And then let's say you book a gig. What are you going to do to sell tickets? So you're going to get on your social media now. You
Ball
gotta
peen
call-
hammer to the testicles.
Ball peen hammer to the testicles. I don't know, fall off a high wire, stuff
Yeah.
like that. Just dig in. I have a book here that I'd like to get into too because I always hoped that I would write a book. It takes probably the most incredible amount of patience to write a book. I almost felt like I get somebody else to do it for me. Well, we're going to get into where he's performing and how you guys could all go see him wherever he is in the world. But right now, let's get this book going because this looks really, really nice. Nice cover, The Pandemic Papers. That is a fucking great title. Almost sounds like a movie. The
Well,
Pandemic Papers.
Being that
Rants and rambling from a comedian on lockdown.
So, if you look at the cover, you being the mega Italian you are, do you know what I hacked or borrowed that from?
Hold on a minute. The Pandemic Papers is the Rockford Files?
No, which is the name of my last comedy special, The Rockford File.
Really?
Because I filmed it in Rockford, Illinois, yeah.
No shit.
Yeah.
Oh, that is fucking whack.
Um,
The Rockford Files. Okay, it's not the Pandemic Papers. You say it's a reference Italian.
Mafia,
Yeah.
the Valachi Papers.
Oh wow, the Valachi
So
Papers.
if you look, it looks, yeah. So I've been a fan of that movie with Charles Bronson, and yeah, I was like, what would be a really kind of spoofy, funny thing to do is make that book look like the Valachi Papers. So that's what I did because it's basically just a collection of different works, essays, jokes, and stuff like that. But yeah, which is a great movie too, by the way. And the book, The Valachi Papers, is actually really good, written by Joe Valachi.
Wow, you got some.
Which is that's one of my things too, which I'm glad I get to come on your show because I'm like a huge mob history buff.
Yeah, wow.
Just I've read all the books, seen all the documentaries. I was watching Casino again today for the 5,000th time, and yeah, it's a huge. Have you been to the Mob Museum in Vegas?
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
rad, right?
Yeah, well, it used to be at the Tropicana. Then it moved a bunch of different places. I actually hosted a show there once.
Oh, no, perfect.
The more I
Did
do,
you kill?
I didn't kill anybody.
Oh, that was awful.
I've been doing a lot of shows where a lot of mobsters seem to be showing up.
Oh, cool.
A lot.
Right on.
And they sit there and they listen to what I do, and I get a lot of phone calls from ex made men, and I don't talk about it because they scare the shit out of you. I mean, I'm just a jokester. I'm not connected. I don't know anybody that way, but they do show up and they have a lot of fun, and that's where I think it became my thing, my shtick.
Oh, right on.
Yeah,
Yeah, 'cause
and I love it. But this is really, really great. This is a nice. You got a nice couple of accolades here for some favorite
another Italian.
friends. Yeah, this is really cool. Let me see. I'm going to read this. This is on the back of the book. And it says here, Jonas can write. I thought this whole time he was just sitting at the bar playing video games on his laptop. Who knew? Mike Maglieri. Isn't that funny? And he's the owner of the Whiskey A Go-Go on the Sunset Strip and the Rainbow Room, right?
Yeah.
Mike Maglieri also had a son. I can't think of what his name was.
Yeah.
off the top of my head, but they used to come to the Comedy Store a lot.
Yeah, Mike.
'Cause
Mike
he
is his
was
name
that-
too.
Yeah,
He's the owner now because you know his pops just passed away a couple months ago.
is that right?
Heart attack. It was like right around Thanksgiving, I think. Yeah, because Mario is the guy who started it all, the whiskey and the rainbow.
Mario. That's
Yes.
who I meant.
Okay.
Mario.
His son, Mike, was in charge, and Mike, that's in charge. He's kind of always been in charge with his father. That's who's the guy now. But yeah, his old man passed away, and I had just seen him. I go to the Rainbow all the time, and I had just seen him, and then I got the news that he, I think it was, I want to say like Thanksgiving or Christmas Eve or something like that. He had a heart attack. So sad.
Mario, as far as I remember, because this is a while ago.
Yeah, the godfather of the Sunset Strip.
Yes, and he had a house on Laurel Canyon Boulevard. Then he had an accent like as if he was from Chicago.
Yeah,
Am I
he is.
wrong?
He's from
Chicago guy. And he would come to the Comedy Store, and a lot of, let's say, misfits, relocated actors and people from around the world would go to the Rainbow Room to have Thanksgiving.
Yeah,
Remember this?
yeah,
And you would see
Still
rock and
do.
rollers
yeah. Still do.
before they became famous, sitting in the Rainbow.
Some of them are still trying to become famous, and they're in their 80s. I'm like, dude,
Oh,
get,
wow.
what's the leather pants?
Wow, what a great time.
Oh, it's a good time over there, man. The food's great too.
The rock and roll era.
Yeah.
And I used to go to Mario's on Laurel Canyon Boulevard. I thought he was the son. I guess he was the father.
Yeah, he's the older guy with white hair.
This is a time where Joey Buttafuoco actually worked the door.
Yeah.
You remember?
And Chuck Zito.
Yes.
Yes.
They worked the door, and there was a guy at the Comedy Store, and his name was Chewy. He had this big black hat, and he was fat, and he was very Mexican with a chewy chap, whatever that fucking mustache was. And you saw all these faces there.
Yeah.
This is 90s, early 2000s. Wow, I wish I didn't lose touch with all those cats.
I got here right at the tail end, all that, but I know a lot of the people that still work there because, like I said, we're at the Rainbow a lot. It's like our neighborhood spot.
Yeah?
And yeah, dude, just
Dude, you got to bring me there, man. I got to
Yes,
go
we
back.
were-
I don't
we
know
were just there
anybody there
Wednesday.
anymore. Really?
Yeah, we'll go have some pizza.
The Rainbow.
About 30 Long Islands.
Oh, man. All right, so here's another one. I haven't actually read the pandemic papers because I prefer to wait for the inevitable film adaptation starring Liam Neeson. Wow, that's cool. But I can attest that when it comes to stream of consciousness, scribbling, nobody does it better than Jonas Garvin. He has a very particular set of skills he has acquired over a very long career, skills that make him a nightmare for people like you. Sorry, got lost for a second. I love your friends, man. My point is, Jonas is too... Oh, shit. What the fuck is that word?
Scatological.
Scatological humor and haphazard punctuations. What Liam Neeson is too lethal throat chops, and I can't even read what this guy fucking wrote. What is this shit?
And elucidating the dire and inevitable repercussions of kidnapping his daughter, the ultimate badass. Signed, Dan Dunn, author, American Wino, Tale of Reds, Whites, and One Man's Blues. You should have Dan on your show sometime.
This is unbelievable. This guy's got one hell of a vocabulary.
Well,
I have to have a dictionary to read what he wrote.
He's a booze writer, dude. He's got his own podcast called The Imbiber, which I've been on several times.
Yeah?
And he used to get flown around. He still does. Gets flown around to like, oh, we're going to fly you to Ireland this week to write an article about Jameson whiskey. That's what he does. And he's got a great podcast. Yeah, you guys should totally look up.
I can't believe how intelligent this man's wording is. It's insane.
Yeah, speaking of
$14.99.
yeah.
Guys, I want you to go get this book. He's going to tell us a little bit about what it's all written about. But right there, jonasgarvin.com. It's a great looking book. Got 2 glasses on the front cover of whatever he drinks.
It's usually Jack Daniels. But
Jack
since
Daniels.
It's the Ides of March, we thought we'd go with the Irish whiskey lad.
It's
Because I
unbelievable.
know you Italians are big on Irish
Random
whiskey.
thoughts. Careful, those women can be deadly. I can't wait to indulge in your book. I might have to drink a couple of drinks. Maybe I'll... Oh, look at this. You got some shit in here I couldn't even say on my show. Oh, that's fucked up. We'll be right back after this commercial break. Now a word from our sponsors. Careful, those women could be deadly. This is hilarious. I can't read. I don't want to get too dirty. It's a little edgy in there. Tell us about your book, man. The inspiration was the pandemic because you couldn't do much.
Well, it's just basically I've always wanted to write a book. I didn't know how to do it. You know,
Neither do I, man.
And
Tell us how you do it.
But I didn't know how to do stand up when I started that. I didn't know how to do this. But so basically, when
wait a minute. I'm sorry, everybody. I'm reading the book. It says shoot the homeless.
There's a whole chapter on it. We've tried everything else.
Shoot the homeless.
So I said, you know what? There's no comedy shows right now. Let's just sit down and start typing. And that's what came out. And that was the fun part. I had no idea how much work went into after, you think you've written this Pulitzer Prize winning thing, right? You turned into a proofreader and editors and all that stuff. And now there's 8 billion rewrites. I've probably read this thing 5,000 million times because after they read it again, they send it back to you. You do it again. And it's just back and forth. And it's just a lot of work, the process of making it come to life. The writing part is really just your thoughts. It's really easy. As long as you can do that. And I can't remember the name of the author. I was watching something on 60 Minutes about him. He's like, the hardest thing to do about doing a book is actually sitting down to write. The writing part's easy. So sometimes you just have to force yourself to sit down. And when you do, it's amazing. You got one idea in your head, and all of a sudden it's an hour and a half later, and you got 20 pages. So basically, if you can just force yourself to sit down and start writing content, it doesn't matter how good you think it is, just write. And that's what and it's just a series of things I've collected over the years, little thoughts and tidbits. I'm sure you've got a notebook as well where you're just like, oh, this would be funny one day, and yeah.
This is really, really great that you did that, man. This looks so professional and wow. Where does everybody get this book?
Well, you can go to, it's on Amazon, of course, like everything else, but jonasgarvin.com. If you go there, there's a link right to purchase it on Amazon, but it's also Amazon, and then there's a few other sites that it's on as well. But yeah, easiest place to go, jonasgarvin.com, and you can get a copy there. And you can also pick up some other comedy specials, stickers, hats, t-shirts, maybe a shot of Jameson. I don't know. It depends on the mood when you order.
I can't stop reading your titles of the segments.
It's pretty. I didn't want to do anything that I just said, you know what, this is how I feel. This is what I'm putting out there. And you know what? If you have to have a chapter called "How Can You Have a Vagina and Be Broke?" so be it. If you have to have a chapter called "Shoot the Homeless," so be it. So.
And it's here too. A bit about women.
Yeah.
Careful, those women can be deadly. Some people just need to fucking die.
Yeah. So, and it's an easy read. It is
fun.
I don't use my buddy Dan's vocabulary, so I know my demographic. I didn't use a lot of big words. So it's a quick, easy, funny read. You could probably polish off the whole thing on your next flight to Vegas, which is 45 minutes. So it's just that deep and intellectual. Yes, that was sarcasm.
This is really cool.
Oh yeah, dude, get you through your next flight.
Fuck hardwood floors.
Yeah, I just I don't like them. So why not put a chapter in there about that?
I love hardwood floors.
I hate them.
Really?
I explain in detail why you should hate them.
Really?
Oh, I prove all my work on the board. Like
fair weathered fans. Fans could be nuts, man.
Dude.
Right?
Yeah, I go to a lot of football games. I go to a lot of baseball games. I'm a huge Cubs fan. I'm a huge Bears fan. I don't get the whole fighting at the sports game. It's like it's supposed to be fun. Have some beers. Let's trash talk. Let's this and that. But it's like every time you turn on the TV over at the new SoFi, there's a brawl. Every time, it's like it makes you not want to even go because you're spending so much money. And I would go to Dodger Stadium a lot more than I do. It's down the street from my house because I just like to be outside watching baseball, eating hot dogs and drinking beer. But there's always something there, and it's driving me nuts. And I will tell you this though, as a Bears fan, the one place that was the most awesome experience to see a Bears game was of all places in Green Bay. The biggest rivalry in the NFL, and they were these fat white people were so nice to us. You know, they were like, yeah, you know, they talk shit. They talk shit about the Bears. Then they buy you a bratwurst. You know, it's that type of deal. It was great. And another place that really shocked me, I went 2 years ago. I had been invited to a lot of Raider games in Oakland when the Bears would play. My friends with season tickets. And I'm like, I'm not going to Oakland. And they're like, come on. And I'm not even going to put myself in that situation with my Walter Payton jersey on and go to Oakland for a Raider game. So they come to Vegas. Our friends have season tickets. Come on up for the Bears game. I said, I'm not going to a Raider game. They're like, that shit doesn't fly here. They're not putting up with that. I will tell you this. We went. They shut down that bridge street that goes over the 15 there from the strip to where the stadium is. It's a pedestrian walk. Everybody's kind of at breakfasts in the casinos. It's every fan's walking over the bridge, right, together. Raider fans, Bear fans, everything. I didn't see one episode in the parking lot. I didn't hear any altercations. It was a great time. So if you guys have a chance to get to Vegas for a Raider game, it's a blast because tourism's their thing there. And if somebody spends a lot of money to go to Vegas to see their team and they get stabbed, they're not going to go there anymore. So, but yeah, dude, I went to a game at SoFi this year and it was like 2-3 fights in the first half. And I'm like, what? Like, hey, are you even here to watch football? Like, are you just here to fight? You can do that anywhere, you know?
Maybe they are there to fight. There was a thing I saw in the news about kids at the beach fighting over what is it, spring break, and they're beating the living shit out of each other. I'm like, wow, is that more fun than just drinking some suds and going into the ocean?
And trying to get laid.
Fuck?
Like what?
Yeah.
You know, like, and if you can't get laid, that's your problem. Don't
Yes.
start fighting. You know, that's usually what happens at the bars too, if I remember right, when I was shutting down
Hey,
the
listen,
bars.
when I was younger and everybody was going to the dance clubs, yeah, there was a fight every once in a while.
Mm-hmm.
But it was usually over, let's say, somebody bumping somebody or somebody looked at somebody else's girl.
Well, yeah.
But it was par for the course. You knew it was going to happen, and you even knew what time it was going to happen. But at a football game, at a baseball game,
Little
what the
kids
fuck
sit-
are you people mad at?
Little kids sitting right there, and
Kids
then all of a
see
sudden
it.
these grown men like want to start brawling, and yeah, dude, it's a shame too because it's baseball to an extent you can still go on a budget, but football, even nosebleeders, dude, like it's insanely expensive to go to a football game.
I'm glad you're saying this because I went to a baseball game, haven't been in a long time. I was actually throwing out the first pitch, thank you very much.
Ooh.
And it was at a baseball game in Miami, and they had some kind of an Italian thing. So I threw
Okay.
out the first pitch,
Cool.
and then I stood there and I watched the game, and I was with a bunch of friends, and they had kids. I think it was like 8 of us. And I says, hey, let me treat everybody to some hot dogs. I'll be right back. I'm like, how much is a hot dog?
Yeah.
$15
Yeah.
for the hot dog. Okay, how much for the beer? 10 for the beer?
Yeah, no, it's crazy.
What the hell? I went back, well, I had $100 worth of food. I'm like, this better taste like
No.
gold.
I will say this though, the hot dogs at SoFi Stadium were expensive, but they're really good.
Yeah.
They're some of the best I've had. But
These were wrapped in tinfoil. It felt like I went to Costco.
we went, quick cheap hot dog story. We were at a Myrtle Beach Pelicans game, which is single A minor league ball years ago. I had some gigs out that way, so we ran into some friends from high school and like, hey, we're gonna go to the Myrtle Beach Pelicans game. Cool. It was like, minor league, kind of like Kenny Powers from Eastbound and Down type thing. I love minor league ball. It happened to be 25-cent hot dog night. That was their promo. And I will say this, it was cool that they're only 25 cents, but picture in your mind what a 25-cent hot dog would taste like. And it tasted like a 25-cent hot dog.
Oh, really?
So it was pretty.
I love hot dogs.
It was, I do too. And, but my girl, who doesn't like to piss away money, I have no concept of the value of the dollar. I just throw it at, but like she's very frugal. She thought that was the coolest thing. She was buying hot dogs for people. She's like, anybody who wants hot dogs? I'm buying the hot dogs. I got all these quarters. And I'm like, woo, check you out. Baller. But yeah, they tasted like the roller dogs from 7-Eleven that had been down there for like a year.
I didn't even know it was called a roller dog.
Yeah, the hot dogs at 7-Eleven. The weenie rollers there.
I don't know. I never get a hot dog at 7-Eleven, but I will get the, what is the other thing? It's like a taco.
Oh, the taquito.
A taquito.
They're all rolled. It's all the same, dude.
It's
It's
garbage.
it's all
Two
rolling.
for $1.
Yeah, it's all rolling in there when you're high, so it's all good.
Dude, I remember when we would come home from the Comedy Store in the 90s, you went to the 7-Eleven, you ate a couple hot dogs, and you walked out.
Yeah.
See ya.
Yeah, again, after putting the
They don't have any
magical
money.
cheese and chili, oh, dude, it's so good. Yep. Oh, yeah, yeah. Speaking of White Castle. Yeah, no, that's 7-Eleven hot dogs are something else, but yeah, they're quite popular.
You were talking about other comedians and what's going on in their world. All comedians don't get along with each other. Sometimes it's an ego thing. You wonder why somebody might get something and you didn't get it.
Yeah.
And it's impossible to try to figure this shit out. So what I try to tell myself, what I try to do, is I only focus on where I'm going, what I'm doing,
What you can
and
control.
how I got it.
Yeah.
Because if you go where you're loved, you'll be all right. If you try to fit the square into the circle, it's not going to happen. You're going to drive yourself nuts and you're going to get sick. That's why a lot of entertainers, I hate to say it, kill themselves because they keep fighting a fight that they're not going to win when you can actually just go down the other street.
Yeah.
There's plenty of room for everybody, and you can earn a good living, a great living, a spectacular living. But if you're not 100% in your mind and you hang around with other comedians that you actually can just talk to about your experiences, because they will come back and tell you theirs, you'll fly straight.
Yeah.
You don't need to go see a therapist. You can talk to your friends.
Yeah.
So,
Well, I'm glad you said something about just having comedians you can talk to. I don't hang out with a lot of comedians just because I'm sure you experience this too. You can't just really a lot of them you can't just hang out with because they're always trying to get a fucking bid in on you. It's like, can't we just talk about the game? Can't we just bullshit? And I tell you this, I know we mentioned I met Ahmed before. Him and I and another a couple other comedians, Chris and John Cadillac, I think his last name is. Anyway, we did a few shows in Morro Bay, California, Central Coast, California this last fall. And, generally after the show, I like to go back to my hotel or I go to a hotel bar or wherever. I don't want to be around the scene. It's just you know what I'm talking about.
yes.
The patio scene on the Comedy Store, the bar scene at the Improv. It's just I don't like it anyway. But all of the comedians that were on that show, the four of us and my girl, we would go to this little bar in Morro Bay after every show, and all we would do was just talk like you're talking to your buddies. There was nobody been like, and then what's the deal with it? None of that, dude. It was great, and it's like we had 3 nights up there, and I told my girl, I'm like, if every night was like that, it'd be so great, in comedy, because like I said, you know what I'm talking about, that whole scene. And like I said, even when I'm doing comedy festivals, I really don't like to go to the mixers and all that stuff. I'm just like, I'll just go find myself, I don't know, a dive bar or something and talk with the bartender.
Well, a lot of the times you have to mingle.
Yes.
Because mingling does get you
Leads
seen.
Get you work.
Lets people say, oh, look who I saw here. You can get to a level where just showing up and not getting on stage is more powerful than anything.
No,
they're like, I wonder why he doesn't want stage time, because he's satisfied.
No, it's like every time I've gone down to the Improv to perform or just to hang out, network, the store, any of those places. Nothing bad's ever come of it. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're always good. Like, how many times have you bumped into you at the Ice House? We're just there hanging out or something.
Yeah, hey, how are you?
Yeah,
oh, man, it's nice to see you. And that's how you make things happen.
And then it's like, oh, dude, hey, glad I ran into you. I'm doing this show at this bar in Santa Ana or whatever. I'd like that, So something always good comes out of it. But just, to me, the bullshit you have to go through with a lot of that is
exhausting.
Yes, dude. It's like,
exhausting, because when other people go to work, like, say, a iron worker, when they're done working, they'll go home and talk about something else, maybe about a ball game, maybe about some girls, maybe about their kids in school. It's a different conversation. Comedians will go home and talk to their other comedian friends about their next gig, how to get it, how'd you get it, can you help me get that?
Yep.
And it becomes exhausting.
Yeah, dude, it's just like, That's what I was saying. It was so great to just be around other comedians and not having everybody trying to make each other laugh.
Because they're successful and they don't need too much more work. We mentioned our friend Ahmed. He was performing in Florida, and so was I. I had been at this one particular comedy club, and he was doing the Sunday night. I was doing Thursday, Friday, Saturday. But on Sunday night, I had a show someplace else, and he was doing Sunday. So when I was done, I was so close, I just came back. And when I came back to the club and he sees me, he's like, "Oh my God, Moreno, so good to see him." Like, "Hey, how you doing? I forget, surprise you, hang out." He's like, "Come on, man, get on." I go, "No, no, no.
Yeah,
I didn't come here to
I'm
go on
tired.
stage, bro."
You know?
And he goes, "Come on, get on, get on." I'm like, "No, dude. I came here just to hang with you,
Yeah.
and I'm gonna be eating some food. I'm gonna be out. You go have at it. I'm
Yeah.
cool." And that's when you know you're around your friends.
Yeah.
I don't want none.
Yeah. Or the other great part is too, like, you know, when we play these places, we get you know, food and drinks, and you get to chill in the green room, which is great and everything, but you don't really get to, I don't know about you, I don't get to enjoy it. I don't like to eat before I go on stage. I don't really you know, like I said, I know I drink a lot, but that's for after the show. I might have a drink or two before I go up or while I'm performing, but it's all business. So like, and then by the time you get off stage, they're closing the club, so you can't like really enjoy the green room. Like,
That's right.
You know, it's not like you know, if you're a rock musician, you come backstage afterwards, and there's 1,000 brown M&Ms waiting for you. With, you know, it's just like, okay, you got to go home. I'm like, but I didn't get my chicken wings yet, you know. So, but yeah,
I usually eat before I go on, which is not a good thing. Because I do slow down and I burp.
Yeah,
hey, everybody, how are you tonight?
Yeah. Do you eat White Castle before you go up?
No, I would never do that. Some clubs, man, they have some really great food. So I try to go early to eat, but you can't really eat afterwards because they're cleaning up and they want you to get the hell out of here. Get out of here.
It's like, but wait, like there was you locked the fridge in the
Isn't
green
that a
room.
steak?
Yeah, what's going on here? I didn't have anything yet.
Your opening acts have more fun.
Right, you know, and that's
Who's my opening act? Oh, he's in the kitchen.
Right. Well, and that's the thing too. People like I know, you know, you and I are both headliners, so we generally we're doing 45 to an hour, but like, you know, sometimes you get on shows, and they'll be like, "Hey man, you know, it's a showcase style show where there's like 10 comedians or 5 or whatever, and they're like, hey, we got to cut everybody down to like 7 minutes instead of 15 or something." I'm like, cool. I'm like, I came for 15 minutes of work, now you want me to do 7? I'm down with that. I can go enjoy myself, you know?
Sometimes that happens, man.
Yeah.
I love when I go to a place and I'm not on and they're like, "Hey, can you do some time?" I'm like, "No."
Yeah.
No, I just came to hang out.
Yeah.
I'll be here some other time.
Yeah.
Are you sure? I'm like, "No."
Yeah, no, I'm good.
Then it actually makes other comedians angry because they're like, "Why are they asking you?" I'm like, "Because you bother them. Stop bothering them.
Yeah.
Don't come here when you're not working. Relax a little. Go someplace else.
Just chill, you know? Like, come on, let's just have some fun.
You got the eye of desperation. Stop it.
Yeah,
Stop it.
quit humping the leg and, you know, like lay down for a little bit.
The club owner's not here. Get out of here.
Right?
Where are you going to be performing in the next, let's say, 4 months, so that we could everybody to watch where you're going and how you're doing what you're doing, and we could spread your social media around?
Well, I'm going to be anywhere, everywhere. Best way to do that, if you'd like to come see me perform, just go to, like I said, jonasgarvin.com. I'm on all the Facebook, Insta, Twitter, trying to get the TikTok going, but I don't have a ball-peen hammer, so I'm going to work on that.
Well, wait a minute. Now, it was in the news today, and I don't know when everybody's going to be watching this particular podcast.
Or something?
They might be banning TikTok, which I think would be cool as shit.
Yes. Dude, one less social media thing to have to update. Yeah.
Fuck these kids.
I'm fine with it, man. Yeah. But yeah, if you want to come out and check me out live, just jonasgarvin.com. Just shoot me an email, jonas@jonasgarvin.com. I'll hook you up with some tickets or whatever, or some drinks, and we'll have a good time. We'll hang out in the green room. We'll eat the chicken wings, and then we'll get kicked out.
Guys, get in the game. Go see my buddy perform, Jonas Garvin, at jonasgarvin.com, and pick up the book. Now, I haven't read the book, but just reading the captions, the titles, the chapters is hilarious. I'm going to get very jealous reading all of this. But unlike, let's say, some comedians, it's going to inspire me to do it. If he could do it, I can do it. See the difference?
For the Italian
I'm jealous.
Coming out soon.
I'm going to make this fucking happen, man. Holy shit. Nice sized book. It's probably an easy read. If you could read 3 sentences and start laughing, that's great. However, if you go on the back, watch out for this guy. He writes.
Yeah.
His words are way too big for my vocabulary. Yeah. It's Jonas Garvin, ladies and gentlemen. Go check him out. And if on Thanksgiving you got nothing to do, we're all going to be at the Rainbow.
Or Thursday morning coming up here, we'll be there. So.
Yeah.
Whatever. And that's another thing too. If you're in town and you want to go check out the Rainbow, hit me up, man. I'm always down there hanging out.
Is that right?
Yeah, yeah. Just
I
come
haven't
down.
been there in a long time.
Dude, it's you know, it's I will say this is one thing, you know, I like to walk a lot around. I live in Hollywood, and I like to walk up and down Sunset and Hollywood and all that stuff a lot, just because I hate the drive, right? Because the city sucks for driving. But sometimes after 19 years, I'll walk down Sunset, and I'm like, there's the Whiskey, there's the Rainbow, there's the Viper Room. I'm like, this is my neighborhood. This is my neighborhood hangouts. People spend a lot of money to come here every year to just say they've been there one time, and I'm like, and to me that's still like really the cool thing about Los Angeles. You know, I'm just like, so we have our problems. You know, I complain about this and I complain about that, but I'm so grateful to live here in LA. It's so rad.
Yeah, he just named some places that are iconic. Iconic.
Yeah.
The Magic Castle, the Comedy Store, the Laugh Factory, the
Yeah.
Improv, Rainbow Room, the Whiskey A Go Go. These are iconic places to go with stories that date back 50 years, maybe some of them 80 years, depending on when they started. But this is going to be a great book for you guys to read. Check it out right there. There's a nice little close-up. Jonas Garvin, everybody. JonasGarvin.com. I thank you so much for coming down to the basement. I want to thank my producer, Tatiana Bluchel, for always making sure we got a great guest come on the show, and we put on a great show for you guys to watch exclusively on my YouTube channel, which is Mike Marino Live on YouTube and, of course, on Spotify. And on Spotify these days, you don't just have to listen to the show, but you can watch the show. I'm also on Italian American radio out of New York City. So let's make America Italian again. And a quick shout out, this shirt is on sale along with this hat now by the Hardcore Italians at hardcoreitalians.com. You could also go to MikeMarino.net and get the tracksuits that say Make America Italian Again as well. Remember my motto, you don't know nothing, you don't see nothing, you don't say nothing. And how do I end every single one of my broadcasts? By saying the same thing with my guest. It's don't take no shit from nobody. You ready?
Words to live by.
We're going to just go. You're going to say it with me.
Don't take no shit from nobody. Salud.
Salud. Hey folks, thanks for watching live from my mother's basement. I hope you enjoyed the show. And if you did, hit the word like and leave me a really cool comment. You can also subscribe to my YouTube channel so you don't miss any of the future episodes, and you can watch some of the funniest videos on the internet. You can also listen to the show on Spotify or your favorite podcast app.